morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach, and I want to welcome you to Shortcuts for Your Soul. And today's subject is going to be really exciting. It's on the concept of what is freedom. And I'm not sure who's coming through today, but we'll find out. I'm going to wait a few minutes for people to come on. And again, I want to welcome everybody who's coming on today. There are so many changes happening on this planet today, most of which few people are aware of because of the quarantine that's going on. But these changes are happening very rapidly. The ascension process, which is the elevation of human consciousness from simply being identified as body-mind to being awareness that operates body-mind, that is no longer subjective to it. And again, that's the nature of the ascension, really learning to open up to all these different realms of consciousness that exist for us at all points of time and space. And again, I'm going to wait a few minutes for everybody to come on, and we'll get right into this concept of what is freedom. We'll find out who's going to come through for everybody today. I'm excited. Hi, Mary Gold. Good morning. Hi, Luke. Hi, Louise. Yes. So what is freedom is today's subject. Again, I want to thank my supporters on Patreon. I want to thank everybody who's been sharing these videos out to other people, getting people interested in the program, getting people involved and sharing their comments and their ideas. Again, I do not know what to expect each day. Sometimes they let me know what the subject is going to be about, but they come through with what they come through. And I always believe that's what people truly need, because these beings that function on different planes of consciousness are always tuned into us, always learning to really hear them and see them and know them and feel them. Because, those four clairs that we all have, remember, we all have four primary clairs: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. And it's through those non-physical senses that must be consciously developed that anyone can learn to then begin to see them, hear them, feel them, and know them as an actual living, functioning consciousness that's in your life. And they're with you right now. They're with all of us right now. And more so than any other time in human history. There's this massive convergence. Okay, they're saying not more than any other time in history, but it's a very similar massive convergence as there was 12,000 years ago, when society had reached a very similar point in its transformation. Where it did not make the necessary changes in consciousness. So we are here again, visiting this time and space to alter human collective unconsciousness. And this is really key to understand the difference between the human collective unconscious and human collective conscious. The human collective conscious is that part of us that is aware through the five physical senses of what this physical world is, what constitutes it, that we can make changes in the environment, that we can make changes, we can interact with other people on this realm. But they're saying the goal here is to realize that our collective consciousness influences and can change our collective unconscious, which is a composite. Our collective unconscious is a sum total composite of all that humanity has experienced from the dawn of its inception to the present moment. So all that we've experienced collectively stored in an unconscious collective field where we all have access to that field. They say that we have the only limits we have to accessing that field are our individual limits, in that we have formulated these individual personalities that place us into the position where, as an individual, you only think in terms of what your life is from the experience you know from your five physical senses, which is a very, very minute particle of the overall collective unconscious experience of humanity throughout its inception of an experience of time and space. So freedom, which is the subject today, freedom is really the idea of being able to be free in the process of creating, growing, and expanding your awareness and your consciousness to beyond that which you believe is your individualized awareness, so that you can expand your awareness beyond what you call your life. For example, I have this physical body, you have your physical body, and we do these things day to day, and we call what we go through every day our life, right? And it is our life in this physical body. But there's ways of articulating changes and affecting transformation in time, space, and matter when we begin to influence the collective unconscious information pool that humanity shares. They say it's very easy to begin that process, and once you understand how to affect the collective unconsciousness, you begin to alter timelines, time and space, and the human condition consciously and deliberately. But it has to start with you first. And they say, they're saying that most of you need to gain personal evidence with the ability to transform your immediate life so that your 5 physical senses gain evidence from your interaction with energy and consciousness that demonstrates you actually can affect matter, time, and space outside of you, outside of your physical realm. You can change things that are going on in this world around you by how you feel and think and act. And when your senses start to get feedback from the environment, your body and your mind then begin to fall in alignment with your awareness, so that your awareness can start to, you as an awareness can start to direct the process outside of the limited scope of your acquired personality. And I find that a really fascinating concept. Outside the scope of your limited or finite personality. That, to me, that means the identity that we've acquired as an individual in this physical form. In this case, the identity of William in this form, or the identity of Louise in that form, or the identity of Manoj. Those are individualized identities that have acquired information stored in the system from the 5 physical senses from the time the physical body was born to the present. That constitutes my finite identity. My personality, if you will, is a composite of all that this individual form has acquired and stored in the human collective unconsciousness. But because of our identification with this individualized form, we're unaware, for the most part, of this vast reservoir of information, knowledge, experience about energy, consciousness, science, non-physical beings, other dimensions, other creative potentials, that we are cut off from that because of our attachment to this individualized identity. They're saying that the first step in learning to break down that identity is to take something simple that you want to create in your life. Yes, they want me to say right now. So the process of being able to become liberated from the confines of what your limited personality believes is your reality, and they're saying this would include things like drug addiction, alcoholism, things that harm you, beliefs that you can't change anything in your life, you're meant to suffer, anything that does not have the experience of dynamic change to it is a stagnant program in the mind of the individual. And that once you begin to change the stagnant program in the mind of the individual, you start to cultivate your own freedom. You start to become aware that you are the creator of conditions in your life, not subjective to the conditions of life around you. You can actually generate. And they're also saying that collectively, humanity has brought forth this condition. We have brought forth this condition by certain choices and agreements we made as individuals, which add up to a collective outcome, which we're experiencing now. Okay. So awareness, they say, is the key to freedom. If you do not know that you are separate and distinct as an awareness from your thoughts, if you do not know that you're a separate and distinct awareness from your emotions, if you do not know that you're a separate and distinct awareness from your body, then you are subjective to it. You are subjective to this. Freedom is knowing that you are not your thoughts, that you can change your thoughts. Freedom is knowing that you are not your emotions, that your emotions are energy that you can alter and change by the way you utilize information and physiology. That freedom is also knowing that your body is something that is amenable to conscious change with your interaction with this form of matter. And it's from the perspective of awareness that the concept of freedom truly begins to emerge as a universal awareness in the state of an individual. They're saying right now that the individual that we are as individuals are directly connected to the universal. We are connected to the creator. We are connected to the one infinite source. But our attachment to the finite state of being restricts our awareness from incorporating something beyond it. So awareness becomes really important. I'm saying there's 2 or 3 things that can be done that will allow you to actually understand that you are the awareness that directs change in your life. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. Again, I don't know who these beings are, but they're speaking as a collective. It's not the divine council of light, because they usually come through pretty strong. But these are non-terrestrial beings. They're from another system. Anyway, very interesting. We'll get more details about them. They're saying that names and labels are not as important as your understanding of the concepts that we came here to present to you today. Freedom, what is it really? Let me say good morning to everybody. Everybody's coming on here. Thank you. Hi, Louise, Sean. Hi, Bezalel. Hi, Lysandra. Wow. Yeah, Lysandra, if you're getting that heat, it's more than, at least from my experience, I get a strong sensation that it's Master Jesus. Right? A lot of people have found that too. It's usually an intense heat with Master Jesus. Remember, our biology interprets different frequency only at the level that it's at. So if you find yourself coming into, like with Archangel Michael, I find a really intense energy pushing me from behind, but it's more like a push, whereas Master Jesus is intense heat, right? Kuan Yin, it's just like this level of serenity that comes through. And again, from being to being, your physiology will interpret the experience of these different beings on the level that it's capable of, as heat or cold or tingles or sensation, the level that it's able to be aware at as an individual. Your awareness, if you tune into the sensation of that heat, you can actually begin to get tapped into the consciousness that is behind the transmission of that energy, by not trying to label it as heat, but by experiencing the sensation of that energy. So it'd be very interesting, Lashandra, if you explore that concept a little differently and see what happens. Hi, Sean. Can they elaborate on lotus clearing technology and how to use it? It was a healing modality that was channeled. They're saying that we are not familiar with the term of lotus modality, but the implication behind your vibration that you transmitted to us would indicate that the lotus process is a methodology where you consciously and deliberately unravel or unfold the petals of your awareness outside of the defined parameters that have been stuck in. And in doing that, your awareness will expand. As your awareness expands, more information and understanding about the process of healing and transformation becomes available to you as an individual. And it's through the expansion of your consciousness and awareness that you can implement any form of healing, whether you call it the Lotus Healing Method or Reiki or light therapy or whatever you may choose to call it. The process of expanding your awareness allows you and enables you to incorporate greater modality potentials as expressions through your individualized form. Wow. Thank you. That's really cool. Great question, Sean. Thank you. Good morning, Vanessa. Thank you for that donation of $5, Bezalel. I feel I was Joan of Arc in one timeline and have been a freedom fighter in many. Do you see this or other? It's funny. There's a great joy in understanding when you understand that all is in one and one is in all. And I'm speaking as me, William, personally right now. When I was 25 years old and I wasn't fully aware of all this multidimensional stuff to the way I am now, I had an experience, a spiritual experience where I realized I was brought into the light. I became one with the light and I realized that I am the light. And for 30 days, I lived in this state of realizing that everything that was around me was a part of me and I was a part of it. And that this unity consciousness that I became aware of was a state of pure love. And I lived in that state for 30 days and it was absolute bliss. And in that, I also recognized, in retrospect, I recognized from that state, we have all been all things. We've all had experience of all beings. When we move from being identified as a body and identified as just a mind, or identified as just this individual living this experience in this time space that you're in right now, that there's an aspect of you and an aspect of all of us that has access to every experience of being. There's an aspect of all of us that has a connection to every experience that has ever been. And it's easy to wrap your mind around that if you look at the practical biology of genetics today and what they've discovered. Genetics, we know, even in the Christian Bible, they talk about genetics when they talk about the sins of the father and mother shall be visited upon the children for 3 and 4 generations, which properly translated means the experiences, the emotions, and ideas, the thoughts and experiences of our predecessors get stored in their DNA. When they get when they create a new child, that information is passed down to the child through the DNA. And that can go on for up to 3 generations. I prefer to remove the word sin from the English language, or at least properly represented as what sin really means, to be off the mark, to be off target. So anyway, understanding that process of this unified consciousness, that we can actually move into an awareness of being all things. And of course, in our courses and classes, people start to become aware of their interconnectedness to all these other beings, and we're not separate from them. And getting that awareness is also another form of freedom. Becoming aware that you are not just limited to this point of time and space, that your awareness can expand to the past, it can expand to the future. And basically, you're just increasing your awareness of the present in a different form. But yes, absolutely. They're saying you are more aware of those experiences of being, which is why they have caught your attention. You are more aware, more conscious of those aspects of your being than others. And the reason this is because there are aspects to those expressions of your being that are essential to bring forward into this expression of your being at this point of time and space. Yeah, that makes sense. So you want to bring forth the experiences of your other lifetimes, the other expressions you've had. It's not by chance you suddenly realize or feel that connection to Joan of Arc. There's no chance that doesn't happen by chance. It happens because there's a part of you right now that needs to incorporate aspects of that part of yourself into this present expression of being. And it's usually at a higher level than it was before. Yes, clairvoyance and claircognizance are the two clairs, Bezalel, that you're going to want to explore: clairvoyance and claircognizance. And remember, when you start to develop your other senses, your non-physical senses, you are also increasing your level of freedom, because then you get to see and hear what most people do not. It's really fascinating. Thank you for that question, Bezalel. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Also, me personally, Bezalel, I really love to have feedback on that response they gave you. Hi, Victorious. Yes, it's important to understand that you are not bound or to be localized to this body mind. Okay, they're asking me to talk more about the genetics thing. So genetic information is handed down. That's how information is passed from one generation to the next. It's how each generation gets prepared for what's coming next. The information is handed down as a genetic encoding. But that genetic encoding, and why it's so complex and why it took them so long to break it all down, they've got the human genome, but they still don't understand all the potential combinations and permutations to that genome. They know it's almost infinite in terms of the potential. And the reason it's infinite in potential combinations is because all of the data of all experience is stored in the DNA packets. When you begin to interact with your physiology from the perspective of awareness, you can begin to interact with your DNA, and you can begin to unpackage information that's available to all of us at all times by being more aware of how to give instructions to the system of information that's stored in the body, right? And we do this all the time. Whenever you give up an old habit, you're rewriting your DNA. You're literally rewriting your DNA. When you give up an addiction, you're rewriting your DNA, because addiction requires certain genetic tendencies be brought forth and certain genetic tendencies be put back. So whenever you change a pattern of living, you're changing, altering, and taking control of your DNA to a small extent. But this can go much further. You can actually learn to tell the DNA to tell and instruct cells to function differently, which is another fascinating thing. And I've experienced that with people that I've worked with that have had comas and strokes. And it's amazing when you learn how to realize that the body, all these, it's here to listen to you. Your body's your servant, right? Most people don't know that. But yeah, so we carry all DNA. Every human's DNA contains the sum total information of all physical experience. My 3-year-old daughter suffers from asthma throughout the winter season every year. Could you please ask Archangel Raphael how I can cure it? Wow. Okay. It's not the asthma that is the issue. You're staying focused on the symptoms of the condition. And what I would advise you to consider, dear one, is the reality that your daughter is very amenable and susceptible to the emotions and the information that you and her mother pass on to her by the way you interact with her. The joy of breathing is what you need to teach your daughter. The joy of breathing, even without adding any fear or uncertainty when she goes into these spasms. That is the time to joyfully embrace her and joyfully engage her into breathing. Keep her in your eyes, and with joy, get her back to the joy of breathing while she's in that state. Get her to the joy of breathing deliberately. Get her excited. Get her to open up her body. Do not reinforce her fear with your fear or her mother's fear. This is an error that many parents make with their young ones, not recognizing that the emotions that the parents feel is a signal to how the child is supposed to behave. Just as the thoughts you have in your mind about your children will influence the behavior, especially when they're very young. Your thoughts act as commands, as your children do not have the restrictions on thought and emotion that you do. Children receive images very clearly. They are opened up in all respects, psychically and spiritually. So when you think a thought or you envision your child doing something you do not want them to do, they will do it because they assume that the images that you're communicating them is a command that you wish them to carry out. So I would encourage you, dear one, to be very mindful with your daughter, to get her into the joy of breathing, and to remember this deeply and profoundly and get her excited about it. And then when wintertime comes, remind her of the joy of breathing, that the joy of breathing does not have to happen sometimes. It can happen all the time. Get her excited, jumping up and down. Teach her the joy of breathing. She will feel that if you are true in your expression of the joy of breathing. If her mother is true in the expression of the joy of breathing, then her body and her mind will receive that information from you, and her body and her genetics will respond to you, for she herself does not have the awareness of how to interface with her DNA independently to make the changes in the physiology that would naturally occur when such changes are made within the DNA. Thank you. Wow. That's the most extensive answer I've heard Raphael give in a while. Thank you, Raphael. I appreciate that. Wow. Goosebumps everywhere. Woo. Anna, yes, I have noticed that most of coworkers feeling happier around me. That's wonderful. Wonderful. How could I improve my consciousness of freedom to help others? How can she do this? They're saying just to keep doing that, but remember to include yourself in what you give to others. When you become aware of the sensation of your love and your joy and your compassion, your excitement towards others, allow yourself to expand that beyond your body. Let your whole space be that joy. Let your awareness expand to that space. Let your awareness expand even further. Get into the habit of expanding and increasing the awareness that you are, so that the expansion of those states becomes a natural effect of the expansion of your awareness. Cool. Great question, Anna. Thank you. Good morning, Drusilla. Awesome, possum. Wow. Oh, you're welcome, Janine. I literally sit here with a journal and learn so much. That's great. Like I said, I am honored. It's an honor and privilege to be able to be present with you guys in this fashion, to be able to bring these beings through. 2.5 years ago, I had no idea I could do this, and it's through the grace of certain individuals that we've worked with. Kristen Davies being one of those people that worked specifically with me closely to help me actualize and identify what I already had. And other beings, my mentor, Dr. William Curry, Dr. Terry O'Brien, my partner, Norma Jean, and every one of you that contributes it and opens up your hearts to receive information. Because if you weren't open to receiving it, there'd be no way to give it. You cannot give that which cannot be received. And so the joy of having you guys coming forward and being open to this is of great benefit to everyone. It allows us to come through. It allows so much more. Your openness allows that. And we hope that you will engage yourself enough to realize that we are with you as well, that you may take notes from us in your own consciousness as well. So thank you. It's wonderful. Hi, Reflection. Oh, thank you for that 5 pounds. I really appreciate that. What is the fastest way to materialize our desires to benefit ourselves? Wow, that is a lovely question. I love that question. The energy going through my body right now is intense. And the reason it's so intense is because they're saying to me right now, it is the feeling, the quality and intensity of your feeling will either increase, expand, and enhance the effect of your creation, or it will slow it down. Okay. In other words, right now, you got me all excited here. So basically, when you're in a low vibrational state, if you're like, I really want that $1 million, I really want that $1 million, or whatever it is you're choosing to focus on. I want that new relationship and that new partner. I want this world to be a loving place. The idea is one step, but the emotion, it is the emotion. How much emotion can you bring into your physical realm? Because when you start to bring more of that energy, because your awareness is tapped into infinite potential. And the minute you say, I want to manifest something, you bring that energy in. But if you don't have an emotional amplitude to it, and that, in other words, a power vibration that amplifies the signal into becoming a physical wave of energy so that it alters and organizes time, space, and matter molecularly. It's the emotion. You want to get really connected to the feeling desire, the energy of it. How would you feel and think? How would you walk? How would you wake up every morning? You want to get so emotionally charged in what it is you are seeking to experience in this dimension that you are just a radiant beacon of that energy. And it's the intensity of emotion that determines how quickly or slowly, if it's a low intensity emotion, it's like, if I lower my voice down, you don't hear much. If we consider this a low frequency of sound versus a higher frequency of sound, you can feel the difference. Can you not? If I lower it down, can you feel the difference? If I lower it down, feel that. If I raise it up, feel the difference. So emotional amplitude is what you want to get connected to. The joy, the excitement, the bliss of it, and really feel it. And when you start feeling your body reacting to the joy, or the feeling of having that, when you start to feel the body responding to that, your body wants to get all excited, right? When you start feeling that, that's when you know you're broadcasting that energy into time and space, this time and space, because once your body's feeling it, it's broadcasting it. And that broadcasting of energy begins to organize the molecules of time and space and matter on this physical plane based on that energy. So it is from the emotional amplitude, the strength of emotion that you can build up around that. You know, when we're doing the 1 billion strong movement, like we're really amped up, you know, and we're watching amazing things happen. And then there's people on the planet thinking, oh, the planet's going to go blah, blah, blah. And everybody's got their vision, right? So it's the emotional amplitude. And that's like the way scales. And humanity's at this place where fear and love are doing this, right? And each of them creates very different effects in time, space, and matter, both of which we know. Great question. So thank you so much for reflection. I really appreciate that question. You know, your questions are every question you guys ask is a gateway for all of us to have more information and knowledge revealed that may not be available. And some of your questions bring information through that I've never heard before, and it's heard in a brand new way. It's really wonderful. Thank you. Hi, Tina. Lots of crying yesterday for no reason. I'm not depressed. I think old repressed stuff coming up to be released in the awakening process. Had a moment of anger at spirit because it wouldn't stop. But love you. Understand, Tina, it is a point of transformation. When a part of me has ever been, and one of the things they've taught me is that if any part of me gets sad or upset, to not indulge in the energy, to actually give love to that sadness or that upset. As you know, they've been training me diligently for the last 2 years about how to eat, how to sleep, how to do different. I'm being put through, I'll say, spiritual boot camp. And one of the things they've been teaching me about is how to master completely and fully, to master the vibration of fear, to master the energy of fear, because you want to be able to use the energy. You just want to transform it from being a manifester of things that produce fear to being an energy that manifests and produces conditions of love. And one of the things they've done with me in the last few weeks is there were 2 occasions where my website literally just went offline, was gone completely. And the first time this happened about 2.5 weeks ago. And I got into this anxiety about it. The little William part of me got really anxious, right? and I'm breathing and relaxing and staying out. And they're just saying, they're laughing at me while I'm going through this process, but I'm not getting too upset. I'm not too frustrated. I'm just doing all the things they're saying. It's going to be totally fine. It's all going to work out. And I went through a certain degree of angst and fear about it. Called a couple of people, said, what do I do about this? I remember the vibration. I had to keep really working hard at not indulging in the vibration. And then the same thing happened again last night, but this time I was more prepared because I examined what I did that time. So this time I went through knowing, listen to my team. First of all, they said, totally fine. And literally within 30 minutes, as I'm completely calm, I actually went over and made dinner and did a bunch of other things. And after dinner, I came back to it and it was resolved. So things are going to happen in your life. They're going to bring up the emotional things, the fear, the guilt, the shame, the things that you need to no longer allow to control your behavior. But when those emotions come up, you want to engage them from a perspective of love. You don't want to engage them from a perspective of, oh, I don't like you, I don't want to get rid of you. You want to engage from a perspective of love, and then only act from that perspective of love. And then those emotions will get converted from a negative framework of energy into a positive one, right? So thank you for sharing that, Tina. Yeah, meditate's very powerful. Yeah, it is reflection. Epigenetics, unlike eugenics, epigenetics is the science that is potentially can empower every human being to become the creator of their physical reality. Whereas eugenics is the manipulation and control of individuals through behavioral modification, genetic manipulation through the types of foods and processed things they give people to control and manipulate people into a pattern of behavior that certain individuals in control and power wish people to be in. But epigenetics gives every single person that understands the concept that through conscious awareness, you can rewrite your DNA. You can reorganize the matter of your body. You can train cells in your body to function better just by interacting with them from a different energy, which is emotion. Remember, emotion is the fifth state of energy. Very important. Angie, what is the reason behind being unorganized and accumulating clutter? I feel that there's an underlying reason for this that I can't get free from. The underlying reason is you still believe there's a part of you unconsciously that believes you're meant to suffer. As well, they're saying that there's an aspect of the human collective unconsciousness right now that's influencing everybody. Because I understand that process, and that's whenever I see that process happening, that's when I move into organizing things even more, because that's your game is being up. So when you've got a clutter thing going on, you want to increase your capability to deliberately organize things from a perspective of pride and excitement, literally that you are the creator of your world. And it can be hard sometimes because we've been conditioned by social conditioning, by religious programming, that there's something out there that has a greater power on us, and there's something fundamentally wrong with us, and somehow we have to hope that we get forgiven by this greater power in order to feel that we're okay again. But nothing can be further from the truth. The infinite intelligence within us all, regardless of your religious beliefs, regardless of your political beliefs, the intelligence that's beating your heart right now is universal, and it loves every single one of us. It's giving us love. It's our interpretation and in the way we interact with that power to convert it from a place from love into fear. So remember that this infinite intelligence loves you, and it gives you opportunities. It gives you opportunities to be more of what it is. And this infinite intelligence is highly organized. So when you think things getting cluttered around you, that's the time to realize, hey, I can be more like that infinite intelligence that is able to take blood and skin and bone, and it's organized this body to be the way it is. It's organized planets and stars to move the way they move. And I can be in tune with it. So why not emulate this infinite intelligence by becoming more orderly? And as you do that, you change that pattern from the old paradigm of animal consciousness. Because remember, your body is an animal. And animals don't think about cleaning up or picking up, or they go about their business. If a dog wants to sleep or pee there, it pees there. If it wants to poo there, it poos there. And your body's like that. You've got an animal consciousness that you inhabit. You're inhabiting a body that is an animal, and it needs to be trained. And because it doesn't want to get up and do things. I'm tired. I like lying down. Eat, sleep, procreate. That's the fundamental needs of the body. Eat, sleep, procreate. Those are the primary instinctual drives of the body. So the body's not interested in doing dishes. The body's not, in and of itself, is not interested in building a skyscraper. The body in and of itself is not interested in becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a politician. It has no interest in that. It is you that defines what your body will be as an expression. So remember, watch if your animal nature is trying to just say, oh, I don't want to do that. I can do it later, because the animal doesn't want to do stuff. It has to be trained. I hope that helps, Angie, because I know exactly that process personally. Speaking personally, that's what I've learned is that when that stuff starts to happen, when my body says, oh, I don't have to do that dish right now, that's the time I know that's the time I'm going to do the dish. I'm not going to let you run me. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to love you, and I'm going to respect you. I'm going to appreciate you, but I'm not going to let you function that way because I do not wish my universe to be functioning that way, right? And collectively, human unconsciousness is releasing all that stuff, which is why we're seeing more of the homeless people on the street, and why we're seeing a lot of the stuff unfolding, because the collective unconscious beliefs have to be released. But once they become conscious, we can change them. Whew. Okay, you're telling me to slow down again. Okay, hi, Louise. Wow, lots of questions today. Okay, Louise, in systemic work, Louise is asking, in systemic work, the energetic field movement between persons, constellations, family systems is what is focused on. It is truly wonderful and validating approach. Do they know this? Yes, there's not one thing in your expression of being that does not influence all things that are being in expression. The awareness that you have of this is of great value, not only for yourself, but of your entire creation. And when we say your entire creation, we mean that each and every one of you is equally responsible for the effects that you see unfolding on this planet. So it is important to become aware of the consciousness that you wish to cultivate and to not allow those things that would not support it. So you do understand this dynamic very well. And yes, they're saying you have more responsibility as a result of that you have more responsibility having that knowledge. And they're saying responsibility is not a burden. They're saying responsibility is an aspect of freedom. Responsibility is an aspect of freedom, right? Wow. Hi, Sophie. How do you protect yourself from energy vampires that suck the life force out of you? Is there light protection needed to do something else? Please ask Master Jesus or Archangel Michael. Wow. Okay. Master Jesus is coming forward for you, Sophie, and he's saying, if you are that love which you seek in this world, and you become that which you seek, then what you seek will be in this world. You will not have to affect or change the behaviors or conduct of others. You must only be the master of your own. If you understand the simple idea of the nature of who you are, then that in and of itself will be enough and sufficient to displace those beings. There is also a part of yourself that you must begin to respect and acknowledge, that a part of you knows when it is time to leave that person or leave that place or leave that thing, that you know these things, that you do not have to subject yourself to anyone that would not be in alignment with your frequency or vibration. It is so important you understand this. He says, I never went into anyone's house that I did not feel welcomed or was not welcomed. I never went there. The two must meet. They invited me, and I had to feel welcome as also. If they invited me and I did not feel welcome, I would not go in that home. Just as when I come to all of you, if I am invited but I am not welcome, I will not come. If I am invited and I am welcome, I will come to you. Thank you. Hope that answers your question. There's other things that I'm seeing there too, that he's saying too. There's a whole range of the idea that you determine your reality. You really, really do, by what you feel, by what you dominantly feel. You determine your reality, and it's important to become a master of your emotional energy field. When you become a master of emotion, you become a master of time, space, and matter. and Master Jesus was that. He was and is a master of time, space, and matter. He's not bound by things as we are, as are all of the angels and archangels, not bound by the confines, the constructs of time, space, and matter, as we've been taught to think they are. They aren't what we've been taught. There's something more than that. Once the general population begins to understand that emotion is an energy that we all have to create experience, that it's not something that's imposed on us from the outside world. It's an energy we receive that we can create with. He's saying the liberation of humanity will emerge very rapidly with that awareness. Yes, thank you, Louise. Yes, she is. Just a moment. We'll get to that. Trying to make sure I don't miss anybody here. Okay, here we go. Giovanna, can I describe your guardian angel? Let's see if we can tap in your guardian angel. Well, right away, I get light. I get very, very light, long white hair, male figure. Very rugged features, but also a very soft energy. He's in almost like a single tunic. That's slightly open here, but almost like a minister's collar on the top of this white tunic. Is it tunic? I'm not sure if it goes down. It's full length, goes down to his waist. It's open at the sides slightly, but yeah, male. What is your name? Again, I'm not getting a name from this one. Is there a name you want to give to this one? I don't know why he's saying this. He's saying there is a tree. There is a tree that you go to, that you admire, that you feel right in. I am with you there, which is why you go there. If you go there and listen carefully, you will hear my name. Do not let your mind dismiss it. But the name I have for you is the name that you must know. This is not for others, unless you so choose to share it. So again, I don't know, Giovanna, where that tree is, even if that tree exists, but he says, go to a tree that you particularly like and listen there. Again, he'll give you his name there. So let us know, please, when you get that information, please come back and let us know. Freedom. So freedom, I want to really address this. Yes, they're saying freedom is not being subjective to the conditions of matter. Freedom is being the objective consciousness that organizes the conditions of matter. This is inclusive of what you think and what you believe and what you've acquired of beliefs. And it is important that you understand the value in removing beliefs that restrict your reality from being fully what it is, and incorporate those ones that do liberate your reality. When you begin to truly understand the nature of who you are, you will be completely free. The challenge will then be in bringing that awareness down into form, for as many of you have already noticed, there are many behaviors and actions that many of you do that you know do not support who you truly are, things that you wish to cease doing. And it is your belief that this reality is greater than what you are that keeps you imprisoned to the conditions of this reality exclusively. But as you begin to alter and change the restrictions that you have in your own conduct, you will find yourself acquiring this sensation, this awareness of what freedom truly is, as a vibration, as a feeling that you know in your heart, but must bring now down into form. And all of humanity needs to know this at this time, this vibration of freedom, that you are a divine creator expressing through a finite form, yet you still have the capacity to do so without limit or restriction. Thank you. Oh yes, yeah. Chris and I did some really wonderful stuff together. That was great. What is the name? Bogmilla wants to know the name of her spirit guide. Just scroll down. Terry's asking, thank you for that $20 donation, Terry. I really appreciate it. Terry's saying, I had a dream of driving a car out of control last night. What is the dream telling me? The first thing they're giggling. The car is simply a metaphor for your physical and mental world. That you are trying to get control of your mind and your body in a more effective way, and you are running into resistances of behavior and in thought and in emotion that you feel are restricting you from being fully liberated in your expression. And this is the truth, but it is not the absolute. You must understand that it is important for you to begin to assert your awareness over behaviors and thoughts and actions that you know in your heart do not sustain, nor promote, nor cultivate, nor expand the life potential in your body, the quality of thought in your mind, and the quality of emotion in your energy. When you get a handle of these things, you will feel the opposite happen in your world. So this is simply a revelation for you to understand that you can assert greater conscious control over the fundamental characteristics that make up your mind and your body, and therefore how you express in this physical world. Wow, great question. That's an awesome question, Terry. Thank you so much. Now, spirit guide. I remember seeing spirit guide here. I'm just scrolling up here. Oh, you're welcome, Anaj. Again, I apologize if I can't get to all your questions because we do have time restraints, and as you can see, this hour goes by so fast. What was supposed to be 15 or 20 minutes slowly eked its way up each day, and so now we're almost up to an hour a day. But we still have time for a few more questions, they say, so we'll do that. Yes, thank you, Tina. That's a very important consideration. Okay, Bogmilla, there we are. What is the name of my spirit guides? Your spirit guides are coming in very strong, and they're giggling. They're saying, if you choose a name for us, let it be one that pleases you. It must be one that you feel represents your connection to us, for you feel your connection to us, but you must define the construct through which that connectivity can occur. To receive it, you must be an open line. You must build the communication to us. Choose a name, whether it be that of a group or individuals, that makes your heart open when you speak it. For when you speak it, your heart will open, for we will come to you. Can we give her one? You may refer to us as those that live in joy. But you still must choose one that resonates for your heart and your mind. For you are open to us at this time and not to others. We can come once you've established your feeling connection with us and become more conscious of that, and you label it, you can begin to then interact with us as a collective or as individuals, and thereby begin to establish relationships on multiple levels. For we are not simply one awareness, we are many. Wow. Thank you for that question, Bognilla. You're welcome, Victorious. Yeah, Terry, let us know how that answer resonated with you. Always helps to share your responses to people. Oh, thank you. Shakina Ra, is there a message for me from Michelle? That's a good question. Let's see. I'm just putting it in there right now. Woo. Man, that's what they're telling me too. Water. Wow. Okay. Autumn, uh, any message from Benjamin? Tanya's spirit guide, Benjamin. Any messages? Wow. He's saying there's something he wants you to change in your diet. I'm getting something green. He's saying something green. Um, something green. It will fine tune. He's saying you need to take in something green. This can be more specific. Um, things things that are alive are preferential, but you need to bring in more green. It will align you to more connectivity with me. Bring in more green. It will align you more to your connectivity to me. And I'm going to paraphrase that last bit. By connectivity, he means you'll become more aware of his energy and how to interact with him as a consciousness. See, a lot of people try to hear with their ears these beings and and you can get sense that your ears can actually pick up high vibrational frequencies, but most people actually try to hear the words. They try to see the image, but there's an inner ear that we all have. And again, your non-physical senses are gateways to freedom. Being able to clairvoyantly clairvoyantly smell and know are the senses you want to begin to cultivate. Learn to identify. Are you clairvoyant? Are you clairaudient? Are you clairsentient? Are you claircognizant? We help people to develop those clairs in our courses and classes, and we hope that some of you will come and join us in September for these, because they are life changing. There are specific ways and methods for learning to actually tune into different frequencies of awareness, and a lot of you have experienced that while we've been doing these extensions to you. So be mindful that you want to get involved, not necessarily with us, but any school that's going to teach you how to open up these non-physical senses that we all have as an awareness. We all have them. As a body, we have the five physical senses. As an awareness, we have non-physical senses that correspond to them. And again, when they open up, you start to tap into more freedom. You start to sense and know more, which allows you to make different decisions in this physical realm when you have more knowledge and understanding. Um, Thank you, Autumn. Um, um, Vita, hi, William. Any message for me, please? Um, yeah, there is actually a message for you. I don't know why. Um, Worry. They're saying you need to step back from worry. You need to pull yourself away from worry more. You need to not go into that energy. They're saying do not go there anymore. Release it. Release that worry. And if you cannot release it, then love it. Give it your compassion. Give it your understanding. But it's yeah, worry, because your worry often leads you to being upset and angry. And they said you would need to break that cycle. Interesting. Thank you. Wow. Janine, that's a great question. I do recommend everybody start who wants to take the course in class. If you already got some of your clairs open, you can start with the Mediumship 102 course, which is our intermediate course. But we highly recommend that you go through the Mediumship 101 course, because it lays down the foundational principles of how to begin to become sensitive to them and how to actually sense their presence. Learning breathing, the basic fundamental steps about grounding and nutrition, and how they all fit into your capacity to open up your non-physical senses. Your body is a device. It's a sensitive instrument that has to be tuned. If you've been eating a lot of processed foods and caffeine and sugars, they'll desensitize the instrument, so you won't be aware of these other frequencies as well. So we walk through a whole process of grounding and meditation and uh, um, um, uh, proper water, proper food. We cover all of that in the Mediumship 101 course, as well as walking through the process of actually connecting energetically with these beings, how your unique way of perceiving them is in the body that you're in, because the way I perceive it will be different than the way you perceive it through the body that you're in. So I do recommend that if you start with the Mediumship 101 course and work your way through the 103 course. You have to take at least the 101 or the 102. Nobody can take the 103 unless they've taken at least the 102 or the 101. It's too advanced. Unless again you're already got your clairs really opened up. Um, oh, you're welcome, Bogmilla. That's cool. Um, it's. Oh, you're welcome, Beta. Yeah, just want to add this. Uh, if you want to step away from it quicker, stay in love with it more. Give it more love. Give that vibration love, compassion. That part of you that's afraid needs love. It doesn't need to be pushed away or shunned. That part of you requires love. And anytime there's fear, there's a call for love. You know, and I've learned that a long time ago. That when something's afraid, it's usually because it needs love of some form. Wow. Oh, you're welcome, Yvette. Yeah, we're just about to shut down right now for the day. Um, I love seeing you in the classes, Tanya. Like I said, it's an amazing course. We have great mediums that work with us, and it's just it's a wonderful journey for anybody wanting to get beyond being subjective to their mind and body. And most people are imprisoned by this. We should be liberated by this, not imprisoned by it. But when you've got behaviors and social information telling you to eat this way or sleep this way or do this way, and you have no creative input in your own life, it's really important to understand how to take control and master the temple. Become the master of your temple, not the servant. Most people feel like they're victims in their life, and it's because the master is now the servant. And it was never designed that way. Master Jesus talks about this regularly. You are the master of the temple. Come home to the temple and put your house in order. Train your body, train your mind, train your emotional energy to function the way you want them to be, and you will become the master of your temple. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. So again, thank you everybody for your support, your time, your energy, your focus. That's the most important gift you can give, is your time, your focus, and your energy. They're the only gifts we can really give people. I want to thank you guys for your contributions today. And those of you who want to support my work on an ongoing basis, you can go to my Patreon page and support it there. If you want to register for the classes and courses or get more information about them, you can go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and get all the information there in the courses section. And again, everybody, thank you for your contributions today, your questions. Every time you offer up your curiosity to others, you liberate others by the nature of what you receive as well. So again, thank you very much, everybody. And we'll see you again tomorrow. I don't know, they're just pouring through me with love and light. I don't know if you guys can feel that, but they're showering all this love down on all of us. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful, a joyful day, and we will see you tomorrow on Shortcuts for Your Soul at Freedom